Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back, hope you're well and I hope you're having a great day. We're back on Project Bruce. It's very nearly finished now, so this is one of the very last episodes. We are going to be doing the final sort of refit of things, getting it prepared for its MOT, taking it down for its MOT, which will also be obviously its first drive. And just to put things into perspective, this car has only done 80 miles in 11 and a half years. So it was just sitting around for a very long time, which explains why some of the bits have gone rusty and that sort of thing. The next episode, I will be talking about the budget. We'll be going through exactly how much it costs, how much the new owner is going to pay for the car, and how many hours labour, how much of my time went into doing it all. So I'm sure that's going to be interesting. Yeah, and also I'll be revealing who the new owner is as well, so that'll be quite interesting. If you're at Bingley Hall Mini Fair this weekend, you'll probably already know because I'm going to hand the car over then. But if not, it will be in the next episode. Thanks for watching, enjoy today's episode and catch you again next time. I forgot to mention, so as part of the sorting the wiring out, I replaced these line fuses on this because it's a really basic Mini. There's only two. It's a rear fog light and the rear hazards and interior lights. So I've replaced them with these tape blade fuses, and obviously they're waterproof as well. Much better. But otherwise, what I found was you get everything working, you fiddle around, move the air filter and things stop working, and it'll be because of one of these line fuses. So they're just much better. So as we get towards the end of the build, there really are just loads of last little jobs that you forgot about. Gets frustrating because you put in, or I put in big orders with like ball motif or mini spares. You always forget something. So first of the little jobs is rear light gaskets. So these gaskets go between the rear lenses and the rear light housings. Obviously the old ones are all perished and no good. So we'll put them on, stops water collecting inside the rear lights. That's the first of the last jobs. I'm sure there'll be many more. Don't you just hate minis? This is, so frustrating. I'm just trying to sort out the snags. Got an MOT booked for it tomorrow, running it up, doing the timing, bypass hose is split. Now I know, someone commented when I fitted that convoluted bypass hose and said about them, they're a load of rubbish. So I've now got to do the bypass hose and I'm running out of time for the MOT tomorrow. Minis. Right, today I've spent pretty much the whole day just fiddling around with stuff. So I can't remember where it'll come in the video, but obviously before it went for the MOT, the bypass hose split. So I quickly took it all apart. Rather than fiddle around, I just took the water pump off to replace the bypass hose. I put a solid reinforced hose in there this time rather than the collapsible one. But then that gave me paranoia about reusing the water pump gasket. So I've had it apart again today, put a new water pump gasket on it, just sealed it back up. And I said I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to get into tarting anything up. But while it was out, I did just spray the radiator cowling, rocker cover. I've reset the tappets, retorqued the head, cleaned up the inlet, and just been tinkering around with stuff. One of the things I have done, which was a viewer suggestion, viewer subscriber, one chish who supplied lots of the parts or donated lots of the parts which have gone into this build, is instead of using self-tapping screws, I've used riv nuts for the grille. So you haven't got to worry about the one when you're putting self-tapping tappers through here, there's wiring behind for the front headlights. You don't have to worry about doing that or damaging that. And two, it's just much neater and tidier. So yeah, it has nice riv nuts in there now. So I'm going to fit a bit of plastic in here. Ordinarily it would have had a black piece of plastic in there to protect the distributor from getting wet. That's obviously long gone. So I'll probably use an old rum plaque or something like that just to go behind here, stop it getting wet in the rain. Right, so there we go. I forgot to get it on camera actually, but there's a upside down rum plaque under there. The only unfortunate thing was I didn't have any spare ones, so I had to cut up 2012. Oh well. In fact, you can see it behind the grille there. So it actually has to be shaped a bit because it's got to clear the bonnet release. So, and it's held on with spire nuts. But obviously these have got riv nuts in here now. So there's 4 along the top, 2 along the sides, and the actual mustaches are riveted in. That's the way I tend to do my grills, rather than all the silly little screws in there. I rivet it all on, and then 4 along the top, 2 at each sides, and that's pretty secure then. It's a much neater job. You know, takes a bit of extra time, doesn't it? And don't do what I'd done, which was to use the small riv nut to begin with, and then just clamp it up really, really tight like it's a rivet, because you just snap the tool. Lesson learned, won't do that again. Another just a bit of detail, I've not sort of shown it before, was when I put the front end on, I actually took the front end number off the old car, and it's yeah, just tacked onto the front here, so it retains its front end number. I know it's not obviously the original front end, but I don't know, it's a bit of originality for the car, isn't it? It's got its original chassis number up on the scuttle and that, and front end number as well. It's actually looking all right under that bonnet at the moment. I don't think I'm going to do anything more. Like I said, this is all about letting the new owner do that rather than me doing it. But it certainly looks a bit tidier and fresher under there now. Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back, hope you're well, and I hope you're having a great day. So today is a massive milestone. I'm really excited. I'm going to get Project Bruce MOT'd. This is probably not the final episode, but it's certainly a massive milestone. The MOT is actually, I need to leave in an hour's time, but we do have a final sort of unboxing. This is probably not going to be the last order. There's probably some little bits and bobs which I'll have to get, but this is kind of it's probably the last order of multiple bits from mini spares. So the first thing I've got is a boot seal. It's the newer type boot seal as opposed to the older type. I did get the older type boot seal with new clips and I fitted it, but you couldn't shut the boot. I didn't want to force the boot, but the rubber, it's not really stiff or anything, but I don't know. It never had a boot seal on it at all before, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put a newer type boot seal on it, and fingers crossed it'll be okay. I've got some roof gutter trim, just the cheap stuff, just to finish it off. What else do I have? I have the door gaskets for the check straps, and I've got the later type gasket, the foam type ones. I don't think you can get the original. I say the later one, the original ones were foam as well. I also have, what is that? I have some trims or some new wiper nuts and chrome wiper furniture, just because the nuts were actually missing on the wheel boxes. I have the finishing strip for the roof gutter trim. I have a brake light check switch. Now, I think that's part of an MOT check, but I don't think they get checked very often. But the one on my car, the one on Bruce actually, I made a mistake. I ordered a whole switch. It was just the bulb that was blown on it. I didn't realise you could get just the bulbs, but it was only £9.60 I think anyway, so I could have saved a few quid there. And this, bit controversial, I have a set of swivels. As you know, I've done all 4 swivels on Project Bruce. When I've done them, I always check them afterwards. So I've done all the swivels, I put the hubs back on the car and I checked them, and on the offside, the top swivel had a little bit of play. It was only a tiny little bit of play, but enough for me to think that's not good enough. So I didn't take the hub off again, it was a top swivel, so I took the top swivel off in situ. It had one really thin shim in it, 1.1 of a millimetre shim in it. So I took that shim out, put the top cap back on, tightened it up, and it still had play. So it's got play with no shims in it. So It may be the hub itself. Those swivels were from Ball Motive. I know you do get quality issues with swivels, so maybe I've just been unlucky with the quality. Maybe it's something to do with the hub, I don't know. The biggest problem I usually have with swivels is there's not enough shims in there, and I've built up a collection of shims over the years. But this time I took out all the shims and it's still got play in it. Anyway, I need to get on. I've got 1 hour, get that shim fitted, fit these bits on and get it down for an MOT. Fingers crossed. Right, so I fitted that new mini spare swivel. I had to put 4 shims in it, so it definitely wasn't a case that there was something wrong with the hub. This one, the Ball Motive one, had no shims in it and still had play. I guess it just comes down to engineering tolerance. I mean, swivels are pretty cheap anyway. But a bit of a rant, flipping out, so annoying. So I used 4 shims in the mini spares ones. That means I've got 2 shims left in the kit to do a pair of them. So not enough shims, like I mentioned earlier, that's always the case. And also they don't put grease nipples in. Neither sets from mini spares or Ball Motive had new grease nipples in there, which is flipping annoying. I mean, how much are grease nipples? I know they try and keep these things cheap, but come on, you do need stuff like that. Right, so I think that's it. Let me get it down for an MOT. Fingers crossed. Right, so I've let it warmed up a bit, but this is genuinely first proper drive, really. You'll notice on the speedo it's got 95,001.5 miles. I think it just had just under 95,000 when I left home. So I've done a few miles. It drives all right. I'm pretty pleased with it. When it changes up into top gear for a momentarily, it just does like slip. I don't know what's causing that. It might just, as it hasn't been driven for so long, it might just want a bit of mileage to free up. You'll see what I mean, it'll do it in a minute. Oh, it's getting better. When I first left the home, it over-revved a little bit, but whether it's because it's warmed up or the oil's got round the box a bit, I don't know. But it seems to be driving lovely. mph. I'm actually going to go the scenic route up Ditchling Beacon. That'll be a test for the old gearbox. And the engine. Bit of kick down. It's definitely going to be a slow ride to Bingley, I think. As it does 60, I'm quite comfortable. Just want to be able to go faster than the trucks. Oh, we're catching the traffic here. Come on, mate, hurry up. Right then, we're back, and you can probably tell by the smile on my face. We have a pass. It was never in doubt really, was it? I mean, I checked everything before it went. It's structurally solid. Yeah, I went for all the snags. It was only really if I'd just missed something, but I hadn't. It passed. And let me turn you round. I have done about 50 miles in it today. So I went the scenic route back from the MOT station, up the A23. Yeah, doing 65. It will do 70 miles an hour on the flat or downhill, but it comfortably does 60, 65. So no worries about keeping up with trucks and that sort of thing when I go up to Bingley, because that's 200 miles. So I guess thinking about it like that, I've done a quarter of that today. No dramas. The only thing that worries, or not worries me a little bit, if you drive a 1 litre mini automatic, when you come to a big hill, that is a bit of a worry then, and you are looking in your rear view mirror, looking at the HGVs coming up behind you. So it's a long time since I've driven a car where you see a hill, you've got to give yourself a bit of a run up. There are some snags to sort out. The clamp that holds the indicator stalk in place is broken, so it moves around. It's a little bit annoying. What else? I think it's the mixture's too lean. When I think the needle's too lean actually, because you can be driving along at sort of 65, which is fine. You back off the throttle, go back on the throttle, and it just has a bit of a hesitation, a little bit of a misfire. It's almost like a lean cut, and then it's okay again. So I might fiddle around with the needle on the carb. I haven't actually cleaned the carb. We'll give that a go, and then it's just tidying up. It's bits and bobs now. The good news is I've got a couple of weeks now till Bingley to get everything all cleaned up, get the bits and bobs done, finish up as much as I can. There are some stuff like the lower dash pad, not sure what I'm going to do about that. I have got the original lower dash pad, which is a bit wrecked. I don't know whether I'm going to try and repair it and put it back on, leave it without a dash pad. Dash pads on eBay, second-hand ones, are anywhere between sort of 50 to 100 quid. So yeah, it's something I might leave to the new owner. Anyway, let me stop waffling on. Great news, we've got an MOT. Yeah, and I'm not sure what the next video will be. I'll go through the budget at some time, talk about how many hours I've spent on it, and maybe do a bit of a driving video. So another last minute job is the indicator stalk just wobbles around left and right too much, and that is because the clamp is broken for it. Someone had bodged it up and tried fitting a cable tie around it before, but it didn't work. So this bit of the clamp is missing. So I'm going to see what I can do. You know what? It's 30 odd quid for a switch, but I'm up to the budget I want to spend on it. I don't want to spend any more at this stage. So I'm going to see if I can do some sort of repair on it. Right, so there we go. There's my repair. I say repair. When is a bodge not a bodge? Someone will look at this in 30 years time when a Mini City E automatic is super rare, and they'll just go, oh my god, I can't believe someone done this. Why didn't they just buy a new wiper stalk or indicator stalk? But hey, I've got a budget target I'm working to, and I reckon that will last the test of time.